On IR.
Wow, I just realized I didn't have the board potted up, so it was just me sitting there awkwardly for 30 seconds.
You are plugged
Oops.
into Hoppe Hour.
Radio 101. What's up? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. For the next hour, my goal in life is to change the way you think about things. For the next hour, I want my opinions and my rants to go into your cranium. But first, it is an open discussion, and I want to hear from you guys as well. 856-49-HOPPE. That is 856-49-HOPPE, and I will be sure to take your calls in real time. But here's the thing. I'm not on the radio yet. I'm not on satellite radio yet. That's the ultimate goal, obviously. But for right now, I can only talk, rant about the news, and take the calls. It's hard to do all three at once. So when I say all phone lines are open, call me at 856-49-HOPPE. But if you're really antsy and you can't wait to give out your opinion, tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio, and I will be sure to see it in real time, and I will look at it during the commercial break. Also, get the Hoppe Radio app from the Google Play or iPhone shop by searching up Hoppe Radio, Hoppe Radio. There you can listen to the show on demand, and you can listen to it like right now when it's live, and there's the chat feature, so you can chat me there as well. And if you're listening on demand, you can send me an email, ryanhopperadio@gmail.com. And I would interview all these comedians back 6 months ago, and I'm going to bring back that feature, and we would always end up talking about the election. And I would always say, I'm not into that. I'm not going to vote this year. Screw that. But man, as the days are getting closer, I don't know who to vote for. Was that debate one of the worst things I've ever seen? I've actually seen more sincere acting in a porno than I have in that debate, because they were obviously acting, they don't care about us, and they're in it for the attention and for their ego. I literally have seen better acting in a Lisa Ann flick than I saw between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And I will get to that in defending Billy Bush, because I don't think Billy Bush should have been fired. I think what he said was dumb, but first, I thought this was great. So after the tape comes out between Bush and Trump, you get the tweets. The awesome non-robotic tweets. Oh wait, they were robotic. From, let's say, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz and 0% Ted or 0% Jeb Bush. All the guys that had no fighting chance against Trump, especially Jeb Bush. They all had to send out a tweet saying that they don't agree with what Trump said. Especially also Tic Tac released, because it was mentioned in the clip, that they're not for what Trump said. What Trump said is creepy and weird, and only a narcissist and a sociopath would say that. And trust me when I say, we don't need to hear from you guys. We know we don't agree with what he said. We know that you don't agree with what he said. So shut up. You're trying to grab attention. You're mad because you guys are weasels and antisocial, and Trump literally just jumped on you. It was kind of like when Mario jumps on mushrooms and then they go away in the game. That's how badly Trump ran you guys out of the presidential election. Shut up. Here's the first tweet from Marco Rubio. And it's so worded perfectly. They can't be relatable. They have to write it professionally. Who are you impressing? As the grandfather of two precious girls, I find that there's no time to say sorry for the excuse of what Trump said degrading women. All right? So it's inexcusable what Trump said, and even if he were to say sorry, it wouldn't work. All right? Great point, Rubio. You don't agree with what he said, and him saying sorry wouldn't change anything. We really needed to hear from you. Because us hearing from Marco Rubio about how if Trump were to say sorry, Marco wouldn't take it, Hearing that really changed the election. People were waiting on what Marco Rubio had to say. People were actually going to go vote for Trump, but now they're going to go vote for Clinton because of what Marco Rubio tweeted. We really needed to hear from you, buddy. Here's the next one from Rubio. Trump's comments were vulgar, and they are impossible to defend. No one should ever talk about any woman in those terms, even in private. Well, saying that, the part about in private, is kind of like saying, I'm going to go to the south side of Chicago, and there better not be any murders. I'm going to go on a campus. There better not be any rape, because frat boys are scumbags. That's like going into traffic and saying, there better not be any car crashes. You can wish that there's not going to be creepy said. You can wish that things will not be said behind closed doors by people that are creepy. But trust me when I say, Rubio, that's a fantasy world. Guys talk like that. We can deny it or not. There's different levels of what people say. But what Trump said is what I've heard in the locker room at the gym. It's this macho man. We're guys. We're better than you. So this whole idea by Rubio that I want this to go away, even in private, it's never going to happen. Your tweets didn't change anyone's opinion. Shut up. Here's Ted Cruz. NBC had taped 11 years of The Apprentice producer, and he even said worse than that. So why did they release this in 2015? Why not in March? Why wait till now? Oh boy, does that make Ted Cruz seem like he's really jealous. He was the last one to go up against Trump. Rubio bombed, Jeb bombed, Ben Carson bombed. It was literally Ted Cruz's whole time to win, and he lost to Trump. So you can totally hear these sour grapes in the heart of Ted Cruz by blaming the media for releasing the tape now. These comments are creepy and inappropriate. There is no excuse for them. All right. Thank you. There's no excuse. That's basically what all three of these guys said. It's inappropriate. There's no excuse. If you were to say sorry, we wouldn't take it. Thank you, Rubio, Ted Cruz, and Jeb Bush. We really needed to hear from you, because if you're listening to Hoppe Hour, maybe you weren't sure if you were going to vote for Trump or not. Or maybe you were going to vote for Trump. But hearing from Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush, you just began the idea to vote for Clinton. It's just these guys with sour grapes acting like babies. Of course no one agrees with what Trump said. Trump's a maniac. Trump is sick in the head. Trump's out of control. Of course we don't agree with what he said. And Clinton's a bitch. No one likes her. We're literally screwed. The country will be fine, but we have two awful candidates. We don't need to hear from these failed people that try to run for president, saying that they don't agree with the person that might be president. Of course you don't. You want to be in their position. You're jealous. Shut up. 856-49-HOPPY. It is 856-49-HOPPY. And all right, I will get to this. This is from the Daily Mail, but you can get it on any website. Oh boy, did Billy Bush get screwed. What he said was really bad. What he said's kind of weird. It makes it seem like he has the mindset that men are better than women and guys can do what they want. But number one, this clip was 11 years ago. If he was saying this to Trump, let's say in March 2016, while he's on the Today Show, and this is when Trump is actually a quote-unquote politician, then maybe it makes sense that these tapes are bad. But you do know, this was when he was on an entertainment show, and that's when Trump was a celebrity. And that is when you, as a person on an entertainment show, you are supposed to make the guest, if they're crazy or humble or quiet, you're supposed to make them feel at home. I truly believe Billy Bush said what he said because he wanted to fit in with the guys. He wanted to fit in with the locker room talk of Trump. Billy Bush seems like a nice enough guy. Billy Bush is clean cut. So I think that's why everyone is so surprised and so outraged over what he said 11 years ago. The best part is this, and I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to even imply where I've heard it. But I've done a bunch of freelancing in radio. I've gone to events where there's hundreds of radio DJs. I've worked in radio. I work in radio. If you were to hear what is said off the mic, none of it that I've ever heard is as bad as what Trump said. But it's vulgar. It's guys saying, I want to bang this girl. It's guys saying, oh my God, look at her boobs, and they're married men. If you were to hear what the top 40 morning shows say, and I'm not saying any names, I'm just saying overall, or if you were to hear what the hot AC DJs were saying, or country music, you would be shocked, because these are the guys that have to be quiet, and they have to be professional and clean cut all the time. So when the mics are off, they feel like they can be themselves, because they're the opposite off the mic. That's exactly what Billy Bush is. He's the clean-cut guy. He's kind of like a Ryan Seacrest or a Matt Lauer. Of course he's going to be different off air. It's not a coincidence that shock jocks, and I've seen a lot of people on radio, the ones that are outspoken on air tend to be nice guys off the mic and very laid back, or they might have an ego where they're better than you, so they're quiet. The people that are on TV are the ones that end up having the scandals and end up being scumbags and end up saying things like what Bush said. Because you're acting professional on TV, you have to have your pretty smile, and you have to act like you're relatable. Of course they're going to be saying these things. It drives them nuts. I'm not saying what Bush said is right, but he should not get fired for what was said more than a decade ago. Especially when you got to realize if this was 11 years ago and it was on a show on NBC, and Trump was on NBC at that point, up to 2014, when he was on The Apprentice, NBC loves Trump. Of course they're going to try and find a scapegoat to make everyone happy. They are spineless. And I'm mad at them because they canceled My Name is Earl after 4 seasons. I will never forgive them. Billy Bush is set to exit today, according to multiple reports. The Today anchor, who just began his new job 2 months ago, is set to be negotiating his exit with the network. So it's not like when you get fired from a radio show in Cleveland and you just quit getting the pay and then you become a janitor and then you get the dream job in Tampa Bay. It's not like when I got fired from a show where the paycheck just ended. Billy Bush is going to be okay. He's not like another TV anchor if they were to get fired, or a radio host gets fired, or a musician, where the money just ends. They will be paying off Billy Bush a lot of money, and he will end up somewhere. I would be very unsurprised if I see him on ABC, or Fox News, or MSNBC, somewhere where he could be this nonpartisan pretty boy. Billy Bush will be fine. I love these tweets from these people. Oh, Billy Bush is screwed. Is he? Is he going to be going home and then having to put his house on foreclosure because he can't afford anything? No, Billy Bush will be fine. And this comes a week after the tape emerged of Bush making lewd comments about women with Donald Trump. Once again, nobody condemns Howard and says, Sirius XM, get rid of him, because Howard's known as a really nice guy off the mic. And I'm not saying Bush isn't, but it's kind of weird how nobody's mad at Howard for saying, isn't that girl Paris Hilton a hot piece of ass, to Trump? But if Bush said that, oh my God. It's kind of the definition of hypocrisy. It's kind of a joke. I'm not saying that Bush needs to just get away with this and nothing happens. Maybe a suspension. Maybe you wait till the end of the year and you make him go to rehab or something and you just kind of sweep it under the rug. But to fire him 2 months after he began the Today Show, huh? Are you out of your mind? Management was worried that if Bill went back on the air, there may be something else that has been done that they aren't aware of. Oh, get the hell out of here. Billy Bush isn't some new person that just showed up on the scene in the TV business. He's been around for a while. This is NBC covering their ass, saying, we're not sure if there's more tapes out there. Of course you know. He's one of the biggest names on your network. Don't act like you're surprised that the tape came out. And don't act like you're afraid that he might say this on TV. Because he's not going to. He's a clean-cut person on air. The 44-year-old host who has 3 teenage daughters. I love how they had to put that in the article because they're implying he doesn't care about his daughters. And, whoa, he has 3 daughters, but he said that to Trump? No way. They said the time and the money that he will be paid is going to be 7 figures to leave the network. Yeah, when I got fired in radio, and I deserved it, but when I got fired, I got zilch. Bye-bye, see ya. When other people get fired in radio or TV, bye, have fun. But when Bush leaves, he's fine. Looking at the article here, I love the scumbag paparazzi. Oh, I love it. I love how they take pictures of Bush walking down the block in New York City or at the airport, and they're like, he looks kind of worried here. He doesn't look like he's in the best of moods. You think? He just lost his job, where he was going to be the next Matt Lauer, and he just lost a dream gig, and he's kind of the embarrassment of the country, this country known as the United States of America. Of course, he's maybe a little bit upset. The paparazzi can kiss my ass. Ridiculous. So I'm just looking here. It talks about everything that Bush said, which I'm not going to repeat because I don't want to get in trouble. And it's just really, really sad because you look at pictures of Bush behind the scenes. I'm sure he has an ego. He's a pretty good-looking guy. He's a pretty boy. If I were gay, I would find him attractive. Bush has always been the guy that you can relate to. That's likable. That's great. But don't freak out when you find out that these guys who come off so pretty and so awesome end up being the ones that say offensive things off the air. I'm just saying, it's not really a coincidence that whenever I've been around anybody in the media, the ones that are not as edgy on air are the ones that are crazy off the mic. Call the show. 856-49-HOPPY. That is 856-49-HOPPY. I mean, Matt Lauer, is a guy who has basically been around forever, and Bush could have been the next Matt Lauer, and he had all those rumors about his affair. But whatever, who cares? A bunch of TV anchors always get DUIs. Whatever. But when words are said 11 years ago on a show where I'm pretty sure he was trying to fit in with Trump and make him feel at home, we freak out over it. All right. Also in the news, I saw this. This is funny. This is from the Huffington Post. Oh, God, are they the worst place to get news? But when there's a slow news day, you kind of have to go to the Huffington Post. Like, I was looking at the Daily Mail, and that's where I get most of my prep from because they're not biased. And it was funny. There was no articles that were worth talking about. One was about a 12-year-old girl that got raped to death by meth heads. And I was like, I'm not talking about that on air. That's sad. I think every single one of them should be put to death right now. There's your opinion. I spared you 20 minutes of depressing radio. So there wasn't much going on in the news. But I went to the Huffington Post, which is like my last resort. It's basically the girl at last call at the bar, or when you're hungry and you get fast food at night. It's basically what the Huffington Post has become in news. Here's what the article says, and I love this too. Everybody's got to act like they're not like Trump. We're different than him. Of course we're different than him. He's a billionaire scumbag. Here's what the headline says. Pro athletes say no one talks like Trump in the locker room. Get the hell out of here. Huh? Athletes are some of the biggest egomaniacs that think they're better than women, that get accused of beating women and raping women. I know that's a small case of athletes, but athletes are known for cheating on women. I'm pretty sure things have been said in the locker room. I don't know why this is news, but I want to read it because it's fascinating. Donald Trump may think that bragging about sexual assault is locker room talk, but professional athletes across the country beg to differ. Really? Because I've heard plenty of things in the locker room at any gym, if it's in Chicago, Cleveland, or Tampa, where guys are like, yeah, totally banged this girl, man. And then I saw her at the gym today, and then she went down on me in the parking lot, man. It was awesome. Great way to have a pre-workout. I once heard that at a gym. And then you hear guys, oh my God, look at this hot babe on Tinder and Bumble. I want to bang her. It's guys being guys. Obviously, that level isn't as bad as Trump, but this whole idea of locker room talk is completely real. I'm sorry. I don't do it because when I'm in the locker room, just like any time I'm in public, I'm kind of quiet and awkward. So I just get dressed, I get the job done, and then I leave. I've never been a part of one of these talks because I don't really fit in with muscleheads, but I've heard it. Clippers coach and former NBA point guard Doc Rivers said that if Trump thinks his comments represent a locker room, then that's a new locker room for me. I've never heard this. Really? You've never heard this? In your 25 to 35 years of playing basketball, you're in your 50s, so you've been playing for 40 years plus. You've never heard it? Even when you played high school or college basketball, or you played in the NBA all the years you played and all the years you've been a coach, you've never once heard locker room talk like what Trump said. Maybe even a little bit of it. No! In 40 years, you've never heard it. Why do I hear it all the time at the gym, but you never hear it in a locker room? Shut up. Here's what Sean Doolittle tweeted. As an athlete, I've been in locker rooms my whole adult life, and that's not locker room talk. Great tweet, because we needed to hear from Sean Doolittle. Here's Chris Conley. Just for reference, I work in a locker room every day, and that is not locker room talk, just so you know. Thank you, Chris Conley. We needed to hear from you because we weren't sure if that was locker room talk or not. But when Chris Conley tweets it out, that's when you know for sure it's not locker room talk. What I love, too, is he says, my job is the locker room. Yeah. Shut up. It's like a radio host saying, my job is talking into a mic and making a lot of money. It's bragging. No one's impressed. All right. Here's another one from Chris Cluey, who used to be like a field goal kicker or a place kicker, and he tweets outrageous things. Ha ha ha! Locker room talk. Like that effing inflatable clown would ever say that in a legit locker room. Wow, you tweeted the F word. Wow. Edgy, man, and you called him a clown? Who's ever heard that before? And I don't want anybody to call in and say, Happy, are you defending Trump? Happy, do you think what Bush said is fine? No, I just think when we're lying to ourselves and we're saying that this never, ever happens in a locker room and that we've never heard anything like this, we're just lying to ourselves and we're trying to fit in with the crowd by hating on Trump. It's not original and it's lame. Here's Brett Anderson. What kind of effed up locker rooms has Trump been in? Listen, there is probing and there are awful, awful initiations and awful things done to kids in high school and college. So when Brett Anderson says, effed up locker rooms has Trump been in, to me, those frat boy locker rooms of the guys who play on the teams that have the initiations in the shower, to me, that's a little more effed up than what Trump said. To me, Jerry Sandusky in the shower is a little more effed up than what Trump said. But hey, maybe what Trump said is so effed up. Again, what Trump said is horrible, but we all have to act like we've never heard it before. I'm just looking. Jacob Tammy tweets, please quit saying locker room talk. No, because it's a term. And when you think of locker room talk, you think about guys who are muscleheads or athletes. So it came from somewhere. Here's what Chris Cluey put on his blog post. We talk about our families. We talk about our significant others and the girls that you're cheating on and the girls that you are hooking up with on the side. You talk about our children and our parents. What are you talking about in the locker room? Oh my God, my mom, she's on life support and oh my God, the nursing home's driving me nuts. I promise you, I've never ever heard anybody under 18 or anybody over 18 talk about their parents in the locker room. The only time I've ever heard parents be talked about in a locker room is when some 16-year-old kid goes, I have to text my mom now to pick me up. I've never ever heard anybody saying, oh my God, did you hear what happened to my mom? It's not locker room talk. Because when you go to the gym, you don't think about your friends or the girl you want to hook up with or your parents. You think about getting the job done and getting muscles. Trust me. Here's what Chris Cluey said. We talk about our fears that if a Hitler wannabe who can't even put together a good sentence on, let's say, the foreign war because president, that's what it means. Our country is screwed. What locker room is Chris Cluey in where they are talking about Donald Trump? The only time I've ever heard politics get talked about in the locker room is when you have middle-aged dudes watching the Fox News stream on the flat screen TV in the gym, and they go, I like that Donald Trump. That Barack Obama ain't no good. I've never heard any of these quote-unquote millennials say any of this. I've never heard any athlete ever debate politics in the locker room. So you're not impressing anybody, Chris Cluey, by writing this really sophisticated article about how great athletes are. Shut up. We never had anybody say anything as demeaning as Trump. Hell, I was in the NFL and I never heard that. Once again, like Doc Rivers, you never heard one thing? Wow, I must be in different locker rooms. All right. Call it a show. 856-49-HOPPY. It is 856-49-HOPPY. I'm checking Twitter. Brad and Britt, the show on the Realm Network out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a big fan of the show. He tweets, don't pretend you give a shit about Billy Bush. He's useless. A knockoff Seacrest. That's not the point! I don't mean to yell, but that's not the point! I wasn't the biggest fan of Billy Bush. He defended Ryan Lochte 2 months ago. It doesn't matter if he's edgy or he's a talk show host or he's bland like Ryan Seacrest. These guys are paid millions to be on TV. None of us could do it. None of us are as good looking as Billy Bush. This has nothing to do with Billy Bush. I can care less about Billy Bush. I just hate the precedent that with fake outrage and with people bitching and moaning, we can get people out of jobs. Do you think I woke up every day at 6 a.m. and I watched the Today Show and I cared about Billy Bush? No, I actually didn't like Billy Bush because when I went to Universal in Los Angeles, he did the voiceover for Universal. And they'd be like, hey, this is Billy Bush from Entertainment Tonight. Here's your ride. Hey, this is Billy Bush. You're in the gift shop and I'm from Entertainment Tonight. I don't like Billy Bush, but I'm defending him because he got screwed over. I'm sure you guys have said things behind closed doors you one-on-one heard on your podcast network. We all have it. God damn it. Somebody else tweets, what? Does he need to... This is what Brad and Britt tweeted, the podcast. Why would he need to go to rehab? Would it be pussy rehab? That sounds awesome. I would love to go to a pee rehab. All right. I don't mean to yell. I don't think I've ever defended a morning TV host this much. I just think he got absolutely screwed over. Should have just said sorry, hid for a few months. I don't defend what Trump or what Billy Bush said. I can care less and I find it offensive. I actually don't like it. But as I wrap this up, locker room talk exists. What Billy Bush said is what is said a lot. Sorry, maybe your husband says it and you're listening and you're a female and you're married. I'm sure he says it at the gym. I'm sure he says it when he goes to the bar and he watches Monday Night Football with the guys. Nobody is ever as foul and as creepy and as demeaning as Trump. But we'll look at a girl and be like, oh my God, she's really hot. That's how edgy I get. All right, here's the deal. We're going to come back and I'm going to defend my generation. I saw this pathetic article. I know that the media loves to rip into millennials because on a slow news day, you have to find something to talk about. You have to find something. So what you do is you go, let's rip on millennials. Very original and riveting journalism because that's never been done before. All right, 856-49-HOPPY. 856-49-HOPPY. Tweet at me, @RyanHoppyRadio. And get the Hoppe Radio app in the Google Play and iPhone shop by searching up Hoppe Radio, HOPPE Radio. And if you're listening on demand, send me an email, ryanhoppyradio@gmail.com. I'm premiering my new commercial I made for my sponsor known as Joe Sale Photography, a.k.a. the Tampa Image Factory, who made me those beautiful press shots back in June. He's now an official sponsor of Hoppe Hour and a good guy. So here's the info. We will be right back on
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour. What
What's up? This is Ryan Hoppe from the award-winning Hoppe Hour podcast here in Tampa Bay, and I'm here today to talk about my guy, Joe Sale of the Tampa Image Factory. About 4 months ago, I needed somebody to take press shots for me for my podcast, and it was hard to find people because it seems like in this day and age, everybody is a photographer. But the thing that I immediately liked about Joe Sale was that he was a laid-back guy who was willing to work with my schedule, and I immediately dug the vibe of his office. The things they have there include family portraits, commercial work for your company. They can make images for your events, your big day when you're going to get married at your wedding, and they even make photography for products and anything you need for the home or office. And if you're sitting here and you're going, man, this sounds like quite the deal. Man, how can I get into contact with such a trustworthy and hardworking photographer like Joe Sale? Trust me, it's not rocket science. All you got to do is call him at 813-417-2626. It's 813-417-2626. Or go on by if you're all about in-person conversation at 520 North Willow Avenue. That's 520 North Willow Avenue in Tampa Bay. And if you go there and tell them that I sent you, he will hook you up with a top-notch deal. Trust me when I say Joe Sale of the Tampa Bay Image Factory is the best in the Bay. What's up? This is Ryan Hoppe from Hoppe Hour, and I have a very special shout out to one of the sponsors of this award-winning podcast. Nicholas Seymour from Duluth, Minnesota, is the owner of Solis Graphics, which is a
You didn't know,
company
Vaughn,
make
that I drink coffee?
You can buy
Do you see me do this show? I'm going back and forth in a chair. I'm yelling. Of course I drink coffee, bro.
This award-winning podcast,
But it's actually green tea. It's amazing.
Business here in America, or maybe you have a band, a company, a freelancing project, and you want to have your logo made into a nice, badass decal. Nick is down for making deals, and he is very good at negotiating. If you want to get into contact with Nick, it's not hard. Trust me. He will answer your call real quick, and he is one of the nicest guys I know. His number is 330-419-0691. That is 330-419-0691.
But bro, I know you miss me on Cleveland radio, but you can listen to me at any time via my app, HOPPE Radio. So when Rover ends, you can tune me on and then listen to Alan Cox. It's the perfect way, man. I'm here. I didn't go anywhere.
Go to tinyurl.com/hoppyhourdecal. That is tinyurl.com/hoppyhourdecal. And when you talk to my guy Nick, just say that Ryan Hoppe sent you, and he will give you a badass deal. Trust my word, pimps. Nick Seymour of Solis Graphics is the best around.
Call Hoppe, 856-49-HOPPE. That's 856-494-6773.
We got some messages on the Hoppe TV chat room. It's great. Let me read them to you. Oh, it's amazing. I get this tweet. Breathe, take it easy. Breathe, 1, 2, 3. Breathe, 1, 2, 3. Trust me, when I'm ranting and I'm in that zone, I know I have a few speech impediment moments, like that one where my brain freezes. But this is the best I've ever been. I was listening to old shows from 4 years ago when I was on WHCM 88.3 at Harper College. Oh boy, number one, the frequency didn't leave the parking lot in good old Palatine, Illinois. And number two, I couldn't get a word out. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. Also, here's what Paige said. These are all hardworking and known politicians. A lot of people do care what they say. Really? Did people look at Marco Rubio's tweet and then they officially voted for Trump? That was my point. I know they do care what they have to say when they're running for president, but once you're a loser who then lost to Trump,
Your word is basically meaningless. Having a politician who lost to Trump during the election is kind of like having someone who lost in the NBA playoffs, breaking down the finals. You're a loser. No one wants to hear from you. All right, that's about it. We got a message too. I need an intern. What are they going to learn? I'm learning in radio. I've been in here 4 years doing radio. I've been here at Tampa Bay and here working in promotions at the Bone and using this room during the off hours for 1.5 years. There's people that are in radio longer than I've been alive. What do I have to teach anybody? Get a podcast, Spreaker.com. Take the RSS feed, put it in iTunes. Voila, you have a podcast. Get a microphone, join Spreaker, and then the microphone connects to the computer. And then there's a virtual board so you can play music. What do I have to teach anybody about radio? Breathe, have prep, read the article, don't copy anybody. It's very unoriginal to be a hacky morning zoo DJ or a shock jock in 2016. There you go. There's Ryan's radio school. All right, I see this here from Forbes. It must be a slow news day for Forbes. This must be any way for them to maybe have someone buy a magazine, for anybody to pay attention to Forbes. It's a survey. This is done by Vanessa McGrady, who's a contributor to the website. And it says that her description of what she does at Forbes is, I cover the art of family finance and how to become a more savvy consumer. Save money, live better. What's the art of financing? Nobody goes, oh my God, I have to pay the bills. Oh my God, I just got money. It is so great. It's like going and seeing a Picasso painting. It's so artful. Nobody has ever said anything about finances and gone, oh my God, this is an art. I love having to give my W-2. This is so artsy. According to a new survey, people in their 20s and 30s are having trouble adulting or achieving financial independence. Of course! 10 years ago, we were in high school. 10 years ago, people that are in Generation X or baby boomers were either 40 or 50 and they had a job. Once again, 10 years ago, we had lockers because we were in school. 10 years ago, people had lockers because they were at work. We're new to the real world. Give this generation a chance. You are so unoriginal when you write an article about millennials don't know anything. We don't. Did you know anything when you were 20 years old? Did you know anything about the world? No, you were living in your mom's basement listening to Pink Floyd. You were living in your mom's basement listening to Led Zeppelin or listening to NWA. Of course we live with our parents. Of course our parents help us financially. We have to prove ourselves to the work world that we are important and that we should be paid money in the long haul for a career. Of course we're struggling. You don't just make a 6-figure job coming out of college. Of course we're struggling. The economy's a joke. Of course we're struggling. Jobs are dwindling if you're in cities where they're going downhill. Give us a chance. God damn it, I'm so sick of these millennial suck articles. Really? Is your article that important to write? Or are you just out of ideas? So you're like, oh yeah, I know what's clickbait. I'll rip into millennials. Riveting. One thing that we learned from the survey of millennials, people born in the early 80s to mid 90s, and Generation Zers. Shut up! What is a Generation Zer? Mid-90s to 2000s? Oh, that is the worst term. I thought millennials were people my age. Where did this Generation Zers come from? It is so grotesque. It is horrible. I'm a Generation Zer. God, what does that even mean? It's horrible. So what's the next generation going to be? Generation A, because we have to just go back in the alphabet? Generation Y? We're young adults that just graduated college. We don't need a name. We don't need to define a generation anymore. It's not original. Baby Boomers was a catchy name. Generation X was cool. There's no need to do this. It's not original. You're not impressing anybody. And the people that you are impressing are just trying to feel like they're important by reading these articles. Shut up. Here's what it says. That they're not sure how to adult. I love when these articles, too, written by people that are in their 40s, try to use the terms that us millennials say all the time. The word adulting is said in memes and on social media. I've never, ever heard anybody at work go, "Oh my God, I made dinner last night. I'm adulting. Oh my God, I got my car paid off. I'm adulting." Nobody says adulting. God. They say, "We're having a hard time being financially independent. We can't find a job. We can't pay our own bills." Yeah! Do you see how much universities are costing? Of course we can't afford anything right now. We're broke. God damn it. And we need to quit relying on mom and dad, he said. All right, Andrew Plepler from the Entertainment, Enterprise, Social, and Government group. Because you never relied on your parents when you were Generation X. You just went out of college and began making money. You immediately graduated, and then you were just balling. Because that's another term that we used to say 10 years ago. Nearly half of millennials don't know if they are going in the right job career. Oh, because Generation X and baby boomers, they just graduated college, and they're like, I know what I want to do, because 99.9% of baby boomers or Generation X people knew what they wanted to go into. A majority of people are worried about finding a job. Yeah, everybody is. You can be fired tomorrow. Of course everybody is. Every day my card scans and it lets me in here at work. I'm honored. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way if you're in radio or you're not. This isn't anything original. Millennials blame the economy as being poor for their problems. Yeah, we should. It costs money when you're not making a lot of money beginning. 64% of them are not sure about their financial future. Oh, because when you were doing well 30 years ago in your 20s, you were just making money. Indeed, the responders did report that they feel like adults because they get help from their parents, and their parents learn how to help them become an adult. Exactly. When our parents or our mentors or our older siblings teach us something, we feel like an adult because we're growing up. It's nothing new. And they feel like an adult because they have a job or they have a role model to guide away. Like for me, people that have helped me, Rob Gargiulo, Mike Olivero, Mike Calta, Matt from Hornblast, those are guys I look up to that have taught me along the way. I'm sure Generation X and baby boomers had people that helped them along the way. They didn't just graduate college or graduate high school and voila, there's the magic wand and you're ready for the real world. Just looking at this article, what they wish they learned in school. It just seemed like it was a really, really lazy day for Forbes. And it was a really, really lazy day for Vanessa McGrady, because she covers the art of finance. So she's like, how can I fill up 5 pages of prep? Millennials! Everything that is said in this article can relate to anybody when they were in their 20s. Here is how I will finish this. The outlook for the future. These generations are different, and perhaps they will get it more of why it's important to be ready. Because they came of an age during the Great Recession. Here's the quote that guy, Andrew Plepler, said from that financial group. Most of them will be in school when most of them were in school when the economy crashed, and they had the opportunity to learn from that. They saw the fragileness of the economy and learned that things can change in a minute with any financial plan. And you need to have a sound financial plan. In general, we find that they are less of people that have ideas and they are not aware of what they want. And they just don't feel prepared yet. Yeah, us millennials, we have no hope. We are doomed. Trust me. At this time, October 11th, 2016, at this time in 10 years, on October 11th, 2026, millennials and Generation Zers will have an idea of what we're doing because we'll have seen the road for 10 more years. We'll be in our mid-30s. Hopefully we'll have a career. Or maybe we'll just be like the Biebers of the world and we'll be screwed. Call the show. 856-49-HOPPY. 856-49-HOPPY. All right, we're going to come back and wrap everything up. And I have this article from CNN Money. It's funny. Backpage CEO Carl Ferrer was taken in for pimping charges. Who saw that coming? The CEO of a site where you can get prostitutes. He was caught with pimping charges. Wow. Who saw that? All right, here's the deal. We will be right back on
Hoppe Hour.
What up? What is happening? This is Ryan Hoppe from the award-winning Hoppe Hour podcast. And I'm here today to talk about my new sponsor, Simply Prepaid of Gulfport, which carries T-Mobile, Go Smart Mobile, Simple Mobile, and Ultra Mobile services. All of their plans are no contract, so you don't have to worry about that. And they are powered by the T-Mobile network. They have an unlimited plan for any budget. So maybe you're behind on bills and you don't have a lot of money right now, but you want to have an unlimited plan. Trust me when I say Simply Prepaid of Gulfport.
We were fine, Vaughn. It didn't really hit us that bad, the media. Or not the media. The media hits us bad. The weather here in Florida wasn't too bad if you were on the west coast of Florida. The east coast, like West Palm Beach, Daytona Beach, they got hit a little more.
One of the best things about Simply Prepaid of Gulfport is they carry a full assortment of accessories for your tablet or smartphone, and they even do repairs. So maybe something is acting up with your phone and you don't know who to turn to. Trust me when I say Simply Prepaid of Gulfport is the place to go to, and they even have very convenient cell phone classes. So maybe you're behind on the whole smartphone phenomenon and you want to catch up. Maybe you need to know about it for your new job, or you just want to fit in with all the cool kids. Head on over to Simply Prepaid of Gulfport and they can hook you up with some good classes. If you tell them that Ryan Hoppe sent you, you can get a free gift with any repair or activation. And now you're probably wondering, how can I get in contact with such a great deal? They are at 5014 Gulfport Boulevard South. And if you don't know where Gulfport Boulevard South is, trust me, it's not hard. When you cross 49th Street going west on the 22nd Avenue South,
we will be back in about 20
Gulfport
seconds.
Boulevard. So it's not hard to find. It's very convenient. And trust me, Patrick and everybody at Simply Prepaid of Gulfport, they're reliable, they're humble, and they are there to help you out. If you want to call them, it's not hard. It's 727-331-1934. That is 727-331-1934. I'm a man of my word. Trust me when I say Simply Prepaid of Gulfport is the best in the Bay.
From Chicago to Cleveland to Tampa Bay, you are plugged into Hoppe Hour.
Doesn't this beat just make you want to get down with your girl? Yeah, because nothing says sex and nothing turns on a girl and makes things sensual like listening to Hoppe Hour with my booming Midwest twang. Call the show. 856-49-HOPPY. That is 856-49-HOPPY. Tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio and get my app and you can chat me there. All right, I see this from CNN Money. Backpage CEO taken in on pimping charges. And this is from Catherine Vessel of CNN Money. The CEO of Backpage, a website that has been accused of allowing ads for child sex trafficking, was taken in Thursday in Texas. Carl Ferrer, who, when you look at his mugshot, I'll tweet it out at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Oh my God. He literally looks like a guy who would get caught on pimping charges and would have a website that would have child sex trafficking allegedly happening. He doesn't seem like the most clean cut or classy guy. Like, he's not a guy you would see at a fancy gala. He's a guy you would see at a scumbag strip club. He's not exactly successful in a classy way. Backpage, it says here, is similar to Craigslist in that it allows users to post ads to sell for items and services. You know, services. The California Warrant claimed that Ferrer was known for 5 years here's what it says. They claim that Carl Ferrer, the CEO of Backpage, has known for 5 years that his site is used for illegal sex trade. Everyone knows that. That's why when you hear about Backpage hookers, you're not surprised. The company had a raid in Dallas. I can imagine the panic by all the employees when Backpage is getting hacked into. I can just imagine the panic when everybody's coming in and they're like, oh no, this is my job. He has also been charged with money laundering. All right, that's about it. Call the show. 856-49-HOPPY. That's 856-49-HOPPY. You would have to assume when you're Carl Ferrer, or you're one of these CEOs of, let's say, a porn site that's doing illegal things, or let's say Backpage, that you're going to get caught sometime. Or even if you deal drugs or you're a pimp, don't you wonder, when am I going to get caught? Or is it a thing that I'm just never going to get because I'm never going to be in that line of illegal work where, you know, you just don't care? Let me know. Tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Are you a pimp? I'll have you on. Are you a hooker? I'll have you on via the phone lines. 856-49-HOPPY. It's 856-49-HOPPY. Tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio and get the Hoppe Radio app in the Google Play and iPhone shop. All right. I know you're sad, and I know what I'm about to tell you is going to break your heart. But here's the deal.
About to end, but first, it's time for last call.
Ow! Ow! All right, if you want to hear more of Hoppe Hour, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. All you have to do is give my app in the Google Play and iPhone shop by searching up Hoppe Radio. Hoppe Radio. There, you can listen to me anywhere in the world. I don't care if you're in Tampa Bay or if you're in Cleveland. You can listen to me anywhere in the world. Also, go to tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour Live. That's tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour Live. If we're not friends on Facebook and you want to see my riveting videos where I'm hyper and you want to see Hoppe TV, you can see it there. This has been brought to you by Tampa Bay Image Factory. They are at 520 North Willow Avenue in Tampa Bay. Call them at 813-417-2626. That's 813-417-2626 and go to TampaImageFactory.com. And if you go there and you want press shots for your wedding, your company, anything, if you go there and you tell him that I sent you, Joe Sale, a great guy, one of the best photographers, if not the best photographer in this whole area, known as Tampa Bay, if you go there and tell him I sent you, he will hook you up with a great deal. This has also been brought to you by Solis Graphics out of Duluth, Minnesota. My guy, Nicholas Seymour. You can have Hoppe Hour decals. Go to tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour decal. It's tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour decal. They're just $2. Also, this has been brought to you by Simply Prepaid of T-Mobile in Gulfport. Go to 5014 Gulfport Boulevard South. That is 5014 Gulfport Boulevard South. And they are at 727-331-1934. That's 727-331-1934. If you go there
and you talk to Tony Spinney and Patrick McVicker and Ryan in the tech department, and you go there. They can hook you up with a great deal on paid per month deals, and they can get you a smartphone, or maybe you cracked your screen, or you need a lesson on how to use a smartphone. Tony Spinney at Simply Prepaid at T-Mobile in Gulfport. He is a jack of all trades, and if you go there and tell him I sent you, he will hook you up with a badass deal. Tweet me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Email me, ryanhopperadio@gmail.com. Call my voicemail if you want to leave your opinion and you want me to play it on air. If it's worth playing, I will play it. 856-49-HOPPE. That's 856-49-HOPPE. All right, and email me if you want to be a sponsor or you want to give me your opinion. Hate or love, I will be sure to read it. ryanhopperadio@gmail.com. This has been Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour is now over.